Okay. Okay, it is 6:05 p.m. and the Moana Kakaako Neighborhood Board meeting is now in session. This is our initial convening meeting. And the purpose of the neighborhood board is to encourage civic engagement, so we can make our neighborhood a great place to live, play, and thrive. Our first item on the agenda is the swearing in of the 2023-2025 board members who were not present at at the NCO installation event. So if we can get all those individuals, if you are present, you can go ahead and stand up. Okay, if you can raise your right hand, and if you're online, please raise your right hand as well. I see Kim, Coco, Iwamoto. Is there anyone else online?
No, so if Karen Chung comes later or Joshua Nam comes later, they will still need to be sworn in order to be. Oh, okay. All right, so please repeat after me. I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear,
that I will
Solemnly swear
faithfully support
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of
the
America,
Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the State of Hawaii,
of the State of Hawaii,
the Charter and laws
the Charter and laws
of the City and County of Honolulu,
of the City and County of Honolulu,
and the provisions of the Neighborhood Plan,
and the provisions of the Neighborhood Plan,
and will conscientiously and impartially
and will conscientiously and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
as a member of the Moana Neighborhood Board.
as a member of the Moana Neighborhood Board.
Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
Okay, congratulations, everyone. We are now doing our call to order. Robbie Chang.
Here.
I am here. Richard Webb,
Here.
Dyson Chi,
Here.
Senior Rice,
Here.
Karen Chung, are you online? Kim Coco Iwamoto,
here.
Ori Farinas, present. Emma Davis. Here. Okay, we have quorum for business. We are going to have our annual election of officers. Okay, so first position would be the chair. Any nominations for chair?
I'd like to nominate member Lee to be chair.
I second that.
Third then. Can we do a roll call?
Yeah.
Okay, any other nominations?
Oh, you did a great job.
That's too good.
Yes.
You like it?
Irreplaceable. Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Ronnie Chang,
Yes.
myself, sure. Richard Webb,
Yes.
Dyson Chi,
Aye.
Jeannie Rice,
Yes.
Kim Coco Iwamoto,
Aye.
Ori Farinas. Aye. Emma Davis. Aye. Okay, it looks like I, Kathleen Lee, will be the chair again.
Yay.
Thank you. Okay, next position is first vice chair. Any nominations for first vice chair? Member Farinas?
I move to Dyson Chi, first vice chair. Sorry.
I second that.
Okay.
Dyson, not that, Dyson. You're not of that.
Okay. Roll call vote. Ronnie Chang. Kathleen Lee, yes. Richard Webb.
Yes.
Dyson Chi.
Aye.
Jeannie Rice.
Aye.
Kim Coco Iwamoto.
Aye.
Ori Farinas.
Aye.
Emma Davis.
Aye.
And it looks like Dyson Chi is our first vice chair again. Okay, nominations.
You got a big fan over there, Dyson.
Same age range.
You're the future.
Nominations for second vice chair.
Do that.
Okay, I'd like to make a nomination for second vice chair. I'd like to nominate Ms. Lori Farinas.
I second that. Second Lori. Miss Farinas.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, vote. Member Chang,
Yes.
Kathy Lee, yes. Member Webb,
Yeah.
Member Chi,
Aye.
Member Rice,
Yes.
Member Iwamoto,
Aye.
Member Farinas,
Yes.
Member Davis,
Aye.
and it looks like Lori Farinas is our second vice chair. Okay, for position of secretary, any nominations?
I move to nominate Member Rice.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote.
I can't.
Member Chang,
Yes.
myself, yes. Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Chi,
Yes.
Member Rice,
Yes.
Member Iwamoto,
Aye.
Member Farinas,
Aye.
Member Davis.
Aye.
Okay, it looks like Jeannie Rice is our secretary for 2020.
Second right. Damn.
Nomination for treasurer.
I'd like to nominate, Member Yova. Member Yova.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay. Member Iwamoto nominated for treasurer. Go down the line for roll call. Member Chang,
Yes.
myself, yes. Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Chi,
I will.
Member Rice,
Yes.
Member Iwamoto,
Aye.
Member Farinas,
Aye.
Member Davis,
Aye.
and Kim Coco Iwamoto is our treasurer for 2023-2024.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, meeting date, time, and place. So we have had our meetings historically every fourth Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. And this is it.
You don't need to do
Okay. So we'll still be meeting at McKee Christian Church. We do have a couple of meetings that we are planning to recess.
oh, yeah, so you just need to, if there's any objection to staying the same.
Okay, so on the agenda, we have 2 dates for planned recesses, Tuesday, September 26th and Thursday, December 26th. September
Just
26th,
a correction to the agenda,
Sure.
as Thursday, December.
thank you, Member Chang, appreciate that. Yes. Thank you for,
I'm sorry, could you please say that date again?
sure, this is on Tuesday, right? Tuesday, December 26th, because of the holiday,
Oh, yeah. Right.
and Tuesday, September 26th, because we will be understaffed that day. Are there any questions or objections to those dates? We good?
Okay.
Or, yeah, you said no objections. We still need a motion and a vote for the recess. So the meeting date time and decision.
Okay, sure. Do you have a motion for the meeting date and time? Can I get a motion? Okay,
I second that.
thank you. And the dates for the meeting recesses as well.
So moved.
I second that.
Thank you. Okay. Adoption of oral testimony rules.
Can you ask for a motion to retain the same board of business please?
Okay, can we get a motion to retain the same oral testimony rules?
So moved.
Thank you, Member Chang. Thank you, Member.
Would anybody like to change anything in the oral testimony rules? Any discussion?
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Any objection to?
Give me my.
Objections?
Okay, pass.
Thank you.
And same thing for committees. Can just establish some. Committees can be established at any point in time. I don't know if we have any standing committees, but, we can just get a motion to continue the same and establish them as they come about. Then,
Didn't you have the Committee?
We did. So can we just,
So we can retain that. Yeah, we can
Okay.
always make more at any time.
yeah, okay.
I think we should at least retain the action committee and make it official.
Agreed. Okay, motion to retain the existing committees that we have, including the action committee that Member Chang had mentioned.
So move.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Objections? Thank you. Okay, approval of the May 23rd, 2023.
June.
The June regular meeting minutes. Does anyone have any corrections?
I'll move to accept.
Thank you.
Second. We'll do it together.
Thank you.
And any objections to the minutes?
Objections to the minute. All right, thank you, members. Public safety reports. The Honolulu Fire Department submitted their report via email, but if they are online, is Honolulu Fire Department online?
Here I am. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi. Okay, I'm Captain David Yoshida at the Paua'a Fire Station, and these are your neighborhood stats for July. We went to 2 structure fires, 3 cooking fires, and 23 activated alarms, meaning the fire alarm went off. We went to 174 medical calls. We went to 2 motor vehicle collisions with pedestrians involved. We had 5 motor vehicle crashes, and 1 ocean rescue, and 1 hazardous materials incident we went to. And this is the safety tip for the month. It's about grilling, since we all do that during the summer mostly. Keep these tips in mind as you enjoy summer events and activities with family and friends. Always use barbecue grills outside, away from doors, windows, vents, and other building openings. Place the grill well away from siding and deck railing and out from under eaves and overhanging branches according to the manufacturer's instructions. Remember to keep children and pets at least 3 feet away from cooking areas and keep starter fluid, lighters, and matches out of children's reach. Cook with caution. Be alert and stay at the grill while cooking. Never leave a hot barbecue unattended. Light a propane grill only with the cover open. If the flame on the propane grill goes out, turn the grill and gas off and wait at least 5 minutes before relighting. You should periodically remove grease or fat buildup in the trays below the grill so it cannot be ignited by a hot grill. Let the coals completely cool before disposing in a metal container. Never empty coals directly into a trash can. Do not store or use the grill on a porch or balcony, including any porch or balcony on an upper level of the building. And lastly, always store propane tanks outside of buildings or garages. Remember to properly inspect and maintain the tank, the fittings, and tubing according to the manufacturer's instructions. Vapors leaked indoors can be easily ignited by pilot lights or electrical equipment, causing an explosion. Are there any questions for the fire department?
Thank you, Honolulu Fire Department. Any questions from board members? Questions from the community? Okay, thank you for being with us this evening. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. Be safe.
Honolulu Police Department.
Good evening, Chairperson Lee and everyone in attendance. Lieutenant Arnold Segusio, representing the Honolulu Police Department, District 1 Community Area of Responsibility. Thank you for your time and patience. The information provided today is the total amount of cases for your area. For more statistical information, you guys can go to the public website, www.honolulupd.org. The statistical information for the past month of June is as follows. So motor vehicle thefts is down 14 from the previous month. It was 34. Burglaries is down, also 16 from the previous month of 35. Thefts down 93 from 159. UMVs or car break-ins is 33, which is down from 56 from the previous month. Assault 17, previous month was 21. Sex assaults were 5, previous month was 5. Graffiti cases were 1, previous month was 3. Drug offenses were 7, previous month was 6. I also checked on two other categories of robberies. So there were 9 reported in the month of June. And catalytic converters, there were none. In regards to the robbery that was reported, it was uh, a cell phone was taken, and it was during first watch hours. So, and it was near an ATM machine. So the victim was utilizing an ATM machine when the suspect came from behind. So there was a total of 5,657 calls for service for your area this past month. Compared to the previous month was 7,692. So there was 2,035 less calls for service for your area. We're going to continue to ask our community members to continue to call for suspicious activity occurring in the area to continue this downward trend of all these criminal cases. Yeah. Just an update in regards to our beloved Chief Lee Donahue's funeral and honors pass and review. The date of the funeral is not yet known. The department is giving some time for the family to get their affairs in order and to grieve his loss. I will be updating the board on the actual date and time as soon as I get it. Back to school is right around the corner, everyone. It's going to be starting on the week of August 7th and moving through August. So expect traffic delays and more pedestrian traffic with kids and people going back to school. HPD, but more so District 1 is asking for the board's help though, in regards to legislature to make more regulatory laws in regards to these electric recreational vehicles or e-bikes. They're becoming a public nuisance and causing traffic tie-ups in our district and in District 6, which is Waikiki. Most of these riders are okay, but some of these riders, as we call them, are doing stunts and illegal things on the roadway. We've been lucky so far that there's been no reports of people being seriously injured from the use of these electrical recreational vehicles. The safety tip of this month of July is bicycling safety. In the recent past, we have been responding to more and more vehicle versus bicyclist collisions. We're asking our community bicyclists to be more visible to these drivers, wearing reflective personal safety equipment and safety helmets for protection. Most bicyclist fatalities are usually due to riders not having helmets and not being visible to drivers. Being aware of your surroundings and vehicular traffic and their movements would also prevent involuntary contact. Use of hand signals will keep drivers informed of the moving intentions. Finally, motorists should realize that green bicycle lanes allow bicyclists to move in both directions, even on a one-way street. At this time, I'm going to yield back my time and take any questions from the board and from the public attendees.
Thank you, Lieutenant Seguju, for your report. Any questions from board members? Board Member Chang.
Lieutenant Segusu, thank you for your report. What do you attribute the drop in calls for the month?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. What was the category of offense again?
What do you attribute the drop in calls that you were receiving for the past month?
You know what? I looked into that, and it's kind of unusual, but it's usually going in the other direction. It usually stays at that level. But I'm going to be attributing some of these reduced amount of cases to several arrests that occurred in that particular area, which reduced the criminal activity in that area. Those people might still be incarcerated or awaiting trial at that point in time, and that could be one of the reasons for the reduction. But it's kind of unusual because the numbers is so high. It's almost 2,035 calls last year. I mean, if it was a few hundred, I could attribute that just to those arrests. But with that, it being so high, there must be other factors that it's unknown to us at this point in time.
Do criminals actually take vacation?
I truly wish they did. And I wish their vacations were in jail.
Thank you. The other report you gave regarding those electric bicycles, does that also include electric scooters?
If I'm not mistaken, yes. So anything that is not pedal assisted, right? So electric e-bikes, there's a difference, right? So there's a pedal assist. So you're pedaling, and then there's an assistance of this electrical device that creates propulsion. But I'm talking about these, they kind of almost mimic dirt bikes. And they're just electric driven. There's no pedals on it. The scooters, that falls under a different type of criteria, but they shouldn't be on the roadway. They should be on bicycle lanes. on the sidewalks and stuff like that. What I'm kind of mostly talking about is these bicycles that kind of mimic dirt bikes. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Chang. Any other questions from the board?
Yes,
Member
Chair Lee. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lieutenant Segucia, for your report. And just to follow up on Member Chang's question, what did you check to see if there's any similar drop in, I guess, calls in the neighboring districts or areas?
I did several neighborhood boards already, and there wasn't a substantial drop of this magnitude, this size for the particular area. I did not check Waikiki though per se, but normally their numbers kind of stay steady and fluctuate with the summer times.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Member Umato. Any other questions from the board? Questions for HPD from community members? Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Lieutenant, this is Lynn Mariano, former board member. Just two things. Well, first, thanks for all that you and your district do for the security in the community. You folks have an awesome task, and you folks are doing it really well. I bring up just two other issues to be concerned with. It's just right outside of our district, and that's the homeless on Lunalilo and Pi'ikoi. It's getting worse. And then when they do a cleanup on that side, then they're coming down on Pensacola, Pi'ikoi, and even on Kapiolani, and they're taking over the sidewalks. And so that becomes a challenge. And so I was wondering if that's something more that you folks can do. Second thing is, I understand there's a new rule on no right turn on red. And because of that, that's causing more traffic congestions and more road rage. I'll be honest, I sometimes get kind of irritated because I'm waiting my turn to make a right turn. And just before I get ready to make that turn, when it's my turn, pedestrians are coming in side crosswalk, so I have to stop. And so that makes a challenge, particularly during the peak period. Is there something that can be done to alleviate that problem during the peak period? And if there's enough of a concern, maybe we can go back in the neighborhood board to go back to the city council, whoever puts this rule in, to see if they can make a change.
Very good questions. Very good questions, Mr. Mariano. You know what, let me start off answering the first one. So in regards to Lunalilo Pi'ikoi, that Lunalilo Pi'ikoi corridor. So the city and county SPO SNO has moved into that one particular location. That has helped a huge amount due to the fact of them trying to penetrate through the fencing. So they kind of notify us right away because they're pretty much there during the daytime hours. So if they see any type of activities of that type, or like them trying to attach their tents or any belongings to the fence line, they usually call us, and then we go over there and usually address that situation. In regards to the homeless population in general, in regards to that location and them moving during the SPO SNO sweeps, I guess we can call them. We are in the process of generating another sweep. I'm not going to be divulging the date and time in regards to that, but it's going to be very soon. With that, it's pretty much a work in progress. Obviously, the RCP location, these RCPs, or residentially challenged persons, tend to move out of the area that gets cleaned up, and they move into other areas. We totally understand. They move onto King Street. We just have to, it's a work in progress where we just might have to do another SPO SNO sweep for that location, and just kind of keep things kind of tidy and clean. Gentle disruptions, as we call it, will kind of prevent these guys from settling in, and establishing like another encampment that is very difficult to move. And then in regards to the no right turn on red, very good question. So we've been seeing those signs pop up a lot around in the town area. One in question is there's one at Kamakee and Ala Moana Boulevard that leads out from the beach park, and on the opposite side leading into the beach park. I think that signage, and there was some stanchions also added to that location in regards to preventing involuntary contact with vehicles and pedestrians for that one particular location. So yes, we've been seeing a lot of those no right turn on red signs. It does cause a backup at times, especially at major intersections like Ward, any intersection on Ward. But I think the persons that could field that question better is State DOT or City and County Roads and traffic signs, yeah. And then they probably could answer that better for you. We have no, I don't think that HPD has any input in regards to those signs going up to those particular locations. All we do is enforce the laws for that sign placed up, yeah.
Can you tell us, please, do we know who put those signs in place, whose idea it was to? Because there's so many intersections where it makes no sense. A good one is Pi'ikoi and Ala Moana to not turn right when you want to turn left from Ala Moana onto Pi'ikoi. There's nobody coming from the left side, from the Diamond Head side. So there's no point in having people, not allowing the traffic to move that quickly and smoothly, in my opinion. Thank you.
Totally agreed. So, major roadways, boulevards, freeways, avenues are generally state. So state DOT would be the answer for those ones. Regular surface streets, you would probably have to contact city and county traffic signs and roadways.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Member Farinas?
Thank you, Lieutenant Seducio. I do have a two-pronged issue of one of enforcement in regards to the no right turn on red. Coming down on Ward, heading towards the Mackay and taking a right turn on Ala Moana Boulevard, there is a bike path there. And it clearly marks no right turn on red. It's right at the stop, and then it's also on the light post, away from the intersection, so it's clearly visible. So, in fact, a neighbor in my sub-district has brought this to my attention where mopeders are going down the bike path, and they either actually wait to turn on red, so therefore a car who is rightfully there, they're turning simultaneously, which is dangerous. Mopeders shouldn't be, first of all, if my understanding is correct, not to be in that bike lane. And then, or if not, they're clearly just turning on red. Now, I know there's a camera there, so what capabilities does that camera have to help to do your job in terms of enforcing that?
So in regards to that, I think it's in those cameras are under control of state DOT, and it's subcontracted out. So just an example, so the red light cameras that are posted up on Vineyard Boulevard. So all of those photos of all of these red light runners, violators are sent to the state DOT. They determine that if possibly are violators, then they're sent to an officer here at the traffic division. Person at the traffic division then reviews the footage, actually determines whether or not it is a true red light run, and then a citation is issued from our side to the registered owner of that vehicle. Now, in regards to the cameras on Ala Moana Boulevard and Ward, I don't actually know if it actually captures those violators in the those mopeders in the bicycle lanes, but you are absolutely correct. Those bicycle lanes to the right are just for bicycles and pedal assisted e-bikes. Yeah, they're not for skateboards. They're not for one tire skateboards. They're just generally for bicyclists, right? So mopeders should be actually in the driver's lane. That first drive roadways lanes for traffic lane on Ward. That right turn, no right turn on red, yes. So realize this, bicyclists, once they're on the road, they must obey all of the laws as well as vehicular traffic laws. Yeah. So they can't make that right turn on red. And then, yes, I kind of see that if they're doing it at the same time, we weren't the organization that painted or set up those bicycle lanes or set up those cameras or those signs. So I think that would be more of a question for the city to answer. Yeah.
Chair. Is there any representative from the Department of Transportation online? Well, to add on to the conundrum of the no right turn on red, and again, on behalf of a neighbor who lives in my sub-district, and hi, Senator, if I may bend your ear on this issue. So on Ala Moana going Eva bound, so on Keolu Street, it's clearly marked, no right turn on red, meaning it's on the post of the traffic signal, so you can see it. The next block over is Cook Street. And the sign is like 3 cars ahead of the stop. So if you're already at right at the turn, you no longer can see that no right turn on red. And the same issue is on Coral Street again, where it's just poorly placed. I mean, I understand where, a lot of things with modernization and being in the urban core where things are changing rapidly, but in terms of pedestrians and the drivers, some of the sign places were just, I mean, if I may say, were poorly placed, meaning not quite visible. And, we're trying to do our due diligence as well in terms of drivers. And again, this is on behalf of a neighbor in sub-district 4. So is there any way that they can maybe tweak the signage so it is much more visible so that we can, keep in track with obeying what it says and whatnot? Yeah, sure. If I, you grace us with your presence, so yes, please.
So there is, and it's said, there is a jurisdictional problem, right there. And I have to put there is a jurisdictional problem. So if it's like on the side streets, Cook or Cola, they're all DTS, Department of Transportation Services. So that's the city. So if it's on Ala Moana Boulevard, a big highway, then it's Department of Transportation. So I can say that there was the problem in the Waikiki area on Ala Moana Boulevard, which is the Hobron Lane and the Ina Road, which is the no right turn on red. So we did pull in the Department of Transportation to look at that problem. So there is now no parking on that street, so that there is a throughway to turn right on red. And those 2 streets are Barnsdale streets. So it's everybody moves at the same time,
Right.
vehicles move, but they adjusted the timing of the light. So if these are on Department of Transportation highway, like on Ala Moana,
Yeah.
then we could call in Department of Transportation and look at where the signs are placed. But if it's a sign on Cook Street, as Department of Transportation Services for the city, we'll need to call them and see where the placement of signs are. Because it could be just people are putting the signs up, but not thinking about the notice on the sign has to be.
From the driver.
Yeah. So that could be done. We could follow up on that if you want.
I figure you got the big gun, so you can follow the people.
Yeah. Okay, well, you tell me more specifically, and then we will go check on it.
Okay,
Thank you.
definitely. I can
Thank
keep
you.
it, Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, sorry, just a quick addition or thought, and I guess maybe part of it is somewhat my confusion. Is this a red light rule that applies to all, like, is it only specific intersections? And like, what is being done about the public education of that? Because I think like anytime you create inconsistency, you're gonna have challenges upholding it, and it's gonna create a really difficult challenge for drivers and others alike, and then challenge your job too as well in terms of people just not knowing or being uninformed, and that's part of our role as well. So, or the Department of Transportation Services. So what can be done about that too, and just informing the public about these changes so that they're aware and can even have a chance at upholding that law as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I guess just an open
I'd
comment.
like to respond, Emma, remember Emma Davis. I'm not big on protocol, I apologize. From what my understanding is that the Department of City Services for the city and the Department of Transportation for the state, there was some publicity. But it's all how you receive your information. Do you receive it online? Do you watch TV news? Do you listen to the radio in your car? Do you read the newspaper? So it's all how you find it. And there was a big to do when the signs went up, no right turn. And I think that lasted for a whole week. And after that, and it's like Member Farina says, sometimes the signs are well before you get to where you're supposed to stop and be able to turn. My big frustration is because my business goes in and out of Waikiki along Ala Moana Boulevard to go into Waikiki to pick up our guests and bring them to Kakaako, Atkinson Drive, Tobron Lane, Dukahanimoku Lane, Enna Road, and Kalia Road. It adds over 10 minutes, I clocked it, 10 minutes just from Atkinson Drive to Enna Kalia Roads, just to get through those 4 little intersections. That's ridiculous when you used to be able to go through. And if, especially at Kalia Road, being able to turn right onto Kalia Road in front of the Hilton Hawaiian Village makes so much sense, especially when the crosswalk isn't being used. When the 2 left turn lanes, one Malco, one going Makai on Ala Moana, are doing their thing, why can't Ala Moana Boulevard turn right onto Kalia Road 2? It always has in the past. I've lived and worked in Waikiki for 50-something years, never seen an accident there. I could be wrong, Lieutenant Taguchio, but it just slowing down commerce, and people, like Lynn Mariano said, people are getting road rage. People are angry, and I'm watching people cut in front on the right-hand lane, wanting to turn right in front of the Hilton limit, and they're cutting in front, or they're cutting in to go straight. And then the other problem is in front of where those few restaurants are, Goofy Cafe and something else, the delivery trucks are parked there. And their lights are flashing. I was there yesterday at 4:30 in the afternoon, and there's a delivery truck there delivering. It shouldn't be allowed. There should be certain times for deliveries, but that's another subject. But anyway, it is a problem. So I encourage us all to communicate with the various departments of transportation, make our constituents' feelings known, and maybe something will change, at least in our district. That's why we're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rice. Any other questions for Lieutenant Taguchio for this evening? Okay, I think we're good. Thank you, Lieutenant Taguchio. Appreciate you responding.
Thank you. I wish I could make you guys more happy. Apologize, but I'm trying.
Yeah, Lieutenant, just want to make one last comment. Again, you can see, we just spent the last 20 minutes talking about this one issue. And so this is something that I think that it starts here at the neighborhood board. This neighborhood board working with Makiki, Waikiki, and the maybe Chinatown as well, because it's all kind of merging in. So this is something that maybe the board can take a look at later on, but is there something that the boards can do if they were to meet together to kind of work with HPD? Because as they make these changes with complete streets, city jurisdiction versus state, and so on and so forth, it just kind of makes it challenging. And so to solve this, it's much a bigger issue than just one intersection, one jurisdiction. Because if you can't enforce the law, then I don't want to see this in the future, but people will start to take the laws into their own hands. So you can't make a right turn, so they'll make a left turn and make a U-turn just to cut across to save time. I've seen that happen in the community, and I'm seeing that more and more. And that becomes more of a danger and more of a hazard. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Mariano. Thank you, Mr. Mariano.
Just to recap, Mr. Mariano, he's a very smart man. He brought up some very, very good points. All I want to say is that in regards to this complete streets or anything that's going to require law enforcement to enforce any type of laws, then we should be part of the conversation. If we are not part of the conversation in regards to this stuff, it's pretty much doomed to fail. So it would be nice that if we could be consulted in regards to these signs, complete streets, how parking should be on Pensacola, reduction in lanes on Pensacola, those kinds of questions. We're willing to help. And I think if we're going to be the ones that are enforcing the laws in those particular areas, then we should be part of the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Lieutenant Taguchio, appreciate it. Thank you, Board Member.
Chair, maybe we can have that an agenda item for us to take up, maybe on the next agenda to see if we can pass a resolution so to have these streets organization have, or at least work in concert with HPD on the plans. That's a good idea.
And the DOT and city services. I
Why
think
not?
we should have a powwow and
Right.
let us all get together and put it all on the table.
There you go.
I like that. Let's do it.
Sorry, last comment too. I think just something to consider too is the purpose of it. And I know that a big part of that you mentioned was pedestrian safety. So what's the data saying in terms of, is it actually being effective, or is there an alternative method besides using, a no turn on red that could be more able to, would help to identify pedestrians and watch out for them without this disruption of traffic flow? Just something to think about as well.
Good question. Thank you, board members. So we'll reach out to DOT and Complete Streets, and hopefully we can get one or both of them representative in the next meeting,
Or two.
or all. That'd be great. Again, thank you, Lieutenant Segusio, for being here this evening. Appreciate you.
You guys have a great night.
Thank you too.
Okay, presentations, we have Festa Italiana with Ms. Kira Niediana. Hi.
I figured it's up there.
Yes. If you can help us with-
Sorry, active member of the democracy right here. Say, pamphlet about the event for your issue.
They might not like imminently yet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Spencer, thank you. And then this is for.
We're very pleased.
Members of the neighborhood board, thanks so much for your time and putting us on your agenda. I'm Zach Diano.
Kira Diano.
Kira Diano.
Leah Zanoni.
Jody.
We comprise of part of our Festa Italiana team. If you haven't heard Festa Italiana, we have presented before the neighborhood board for 3 years, from 2017 to 2019. It's an Italian cultural festival that celebrates the Italian and Italian American experience as it exists in the host culture of Hawaii. So as you can see from the front page, it's celebrating for Ciao Mitsaloha, or Ciao or Chowsit. And this is Raffaello. We are having our event September 16th in Mother Waldron Park and the surrounding streets on Pohukaina, Cook Street, and Halikawila. The event invites food vendors, musicians, artists, nonprofits, such as Hawaii Opera Theater, our nonprofit partner this year is Hawaii International Film Festivals. We'll be doing a Cinema Italiano in the park. Street performers, as well as games for kids in the park, like bocce ball and things like that. And live music, which will be in the park as well. This is specifically a family-friendly event. And free and open to the public. So we've done, 2017, 2018, and this is our first year back since pre-COVID. You guys want to add anything?
It's a.
Yep, the event will start so there will be a street closure on Saturday, September 16th, that will start commencing around 10 a.m.
Which street?
It'll be Cook Street, down to Pohukaina, and then Pohukaina to Coral. So we've submitted our permits with DTS. We've also submitted our park permit with Department of Parks and Recreation.
Whoever the Cook Street.
It'll be from Cook Street.
Oh, we have another question.
Yeah, so the street will be closed from basically just south of the intersection of Halikawila and Cook. So running down Makai towards Pohukaina. There'll be a traffic flow to allow traffic that's coming up Cook Street to make a right on the Pohukaina, but not left because the street will be closed from basically the intersection of Hook and Polokina over to Coral Street. So it's kind of a backwards element.
Are you gonna be putting up posters in the neighborhood so people are aware?
Yep.
You can put one in my store if you like.
Which-
Same way as the light.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I know, I'm looking at you guys, but I know exactly.
You've done made pasta before. Yes, we are, well, this
And now I know, now my thoughts back to me, sorry.
this is part of the outreach, and as we are starting to do this outreach, we'll be having a more robust public, we've contacted already nearly 95% of the businesses in the area, as we're required to. And we'll continue to follow up with them and address any concerns that they have. But yeah, overall, it's a really exciting event. Again, it's celebrating the Italian culture, which is, it's very fun with food and music and whatnot. And we get to lift up many local small businesses and nonprofits in the community, which we're really proud of. So opportunity for those businesses to show off their stuff, have a, have a successful evening selling their food. And then, yeah, there's some surprises that we have for the community in terms of performances and music performances, artist performances, things like that.
It's really like activating Mother Waldron Park.
Yeah.
For its intended use.
Yeah.
We like that situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great choice.
So, yeah, and just for, if folks are interested in learning more, they can visit www.festatalianahawaii.com. We do have a video on that landing page, which shows it's like a 3 or so minute video recap. And if you have a chance to check it out, I encourage you to, because you'll see how beautiful the park looks. We offer seating in the park with red and white checker tables for parents or families and elderly and whoever to just go grab some food from the vendors, sit in the park, enjoy watching music. And again, like all those amenities are provided for free. No one is paying to actually attend except for what they buy and eat. Things
We
like
have
that.
approved for after the event.
Yep, so we'll be working with an organization for now, our 4th year, called Life 360. They are a nonprofit that works with, I guess the appropriate word is at-risk young people and giving them an opportunity for gainful employment, and we make a donation to them. And they have been phenomenal every year and just making sure that the park is immaculate. And I think it's relevant to mention before the board that we've had 0 incidents in the 3 years we run the event, both from the Parks Department perspective, the DTS, HPD. So, we hire HPD special duty. We have private security that's on site. So it's meant to be a safe event for, everyone who attends.
Very cool.
Number Davis. Another question.
Oh, sorry, 2 quick questions.
Yep.
The first one, it says you've had approximately 9,000. Are you kind of expecting the same turnout, or do you have any kind of
I would-
estimation of those numbers?
Yeah, it would be wonderful if we had that much.
Yeah.
It's over the course of the event, which is
Yeah.
4 to 10 p.m. So
I think
Not all at one time.
at any given point, there's maybe a couple thousand people there because, you have some people who come early to just beat the crowds. You have kind of your busy period, and then it starts to tail off towards the night. If we could have that many, our vendors would be very happy. This is our first event coming back from COVID, so we're going to gauge the appetite of people being in large public spaces like this. So, yeah.
Follow-up question. I know you mentioned you haven't had any incidents in the holding of the event. Is there any kind of challenges you face that, like, through the neighborhood board system, like, we're able to support you with?
That's a good question. Thanks for offering. No, I mean, we actually we have a really good working relationship with the Parks Department, and we understand that they've been activating that space through pickleball courts and whatnot. So I think there's been a lot more positive draw there. So that's been cool. There is always the issue of someone used the appropriate word for folks who are houseless, but residentially challenged persons.
Mhm.
We do our best to work with those folks, and it's never a contentious issue. We've been fortunate that there hasn't been an issue, but that's why we bring in some extra security, just to be mindful that it's diminishing, but it's still ongoing, and we don't want to take a chance with our patrons who attend. So we invest in the extra security.
Any plan of engagement with the dog park that's over there?
The dog park.
That's on the side with
With
the
the
pickleballs. Yeah, we're not gonna be sort of touching pickleball.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, so if you have that map, which, yeah, I think
Yeah.
everybody has it, so
Suggest you guys include it in here.
Okay.
we can circulate one share, and that way you guys can have a record of it. Sorry we didn't include it.
Get an electronic copy.
Yes.
Yep, of course. So basically, you see here that the event will primarily, this is the whole park, but the event will primarily be this, everything is in front of that rest station. And so it just because it's not well lit behind the rest station by the basketball courts. And we don't really have that much stuff to include all, it's a big park. I mean, like if we try to spread things out as much as we can. But it won't interfere with anything back there.
Member Farinas, you had a question?
Yeah, welcome back. We've been waiting for your return. I've experienced your other,
Cool.
and it was wonderful. And,
Oh,
and I hope you do bring the draw of people again. And I think people are like really happy to be out again and return to some sort of sense of normalcy. With that said, my question for you folks is security.
Yep.
In terms of now we have gun carry laws. In your advertisements, is there any way, whether it be your print media, digital advertising, to make that stipulation that this is a gun-free area, gun-free venue, gun-free?
Yeah, if that's what the rules and regulations and laws state.
Large events, yes.
For large events,
gatherings,
then
yes.
certainly, it would be something that we would cite to a city or ROH or the state law, and not something that we're saying, oh, well, you can't do what you want, but we would just, yeah, that's a good point. We can include that in our flyer, in our printout flyers, maybe on the bottom that per the I'm not sure what law is specifically saying it's a gun-free zone, but whatever it is, that's a good point to include that, so that way people know that we're recognizing that issue, because I know that's been coming up in the news and scaring people away from public places, which sucks, to be honest with you, but thank you for lifting that up.
It's so many changes, but.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Sorry, one last question.
Yes.
In terms of logistics, I know the event is slated to start at 4 to 10 PM. Now, in terms of road closure, how soon, I know my neighbors who live in that area, well, like in terms of impeding their, they getting in and out of their buildings. So when would the road closures commence?
Typically, it's around midnight. I mean,
The night before.
The night,
when it begins or when it ends?
when it begins, like when you start
It's
to
like
set up?
the morning of around 10 a.m. It's either 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
That's when they start putting down the no parking signs around the meters a day before, but the actual, like safety systems will come and start doing the road closure the day of in the morning, and that's around 9 or 10.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, we don't do anything the night before. So it's a very busy morning. Yes.
Sorry, last question. But thank you for holding this event. For context, when you last held it in 2019, I would have been 17 years old. Now I'm 21, so I can actually enjoy that. Joke aside, I did want to check. There is a section on here that says there's also something on September 15th, and it looks like it's more exclusive. But is this something that the board should be aware of in terms of logistical things, anything that would impact the neighborhood?
Sure. It's at Velocity. It's a ticketed VIP event on private grounds. There will be no associated road closures, no permits pulled. It's all held within the Velocity structure, and so parking will be provided by Velocity within their garage or limited spots as well. But we're going to encourage people to Uber or Lyft, take ride sharing vehicles there. But yeah, that's our VIP ticketed event that will be entirely enclosed within the Velocity Honolulu building.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Which you can attend.
Which you can attend. You can put in.
Any other questions from board members? Okay, I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yay. So you're doing this area this year, and what about next year and 2 years? Like, what do you think? Changing the venue. The reason I ask is another wall, that area, always is a challenge on us, other issues that are there. So, have there been some consideration for your group to work with business owners that maybe set aside some money to using the same areas as set aside, not just keeping up whether Wallace Park and the areas around it, just expensive, but also kind of probably around. What is the voting? It makes sense because you do it in 6. But the homeless people will be displaced. And then they come back. Up the challenge. So if by working with the what's in safety, we'll get some consideration. Bringing back such benefits to one park and small park.
Can I respond to that, please? So my business is right at the Coral Commercial Center between Coral, Keawe, Papukaina, and Oahu. There's an event, a road closure, a couple of times a month. There's last Saturday was a dog event in front of the H Mart. It's not a problem, Lynn, in all. I mean, there are lots of signs that go up early on. The community is well aware, and I always invite organizations, come and put a sign up in our business and all the other businesses around. Salt, make sure you put them in Salt and all the boutiques and shops along Keawe Street in particular. The dog park shouldn't be an issue because it's all enclosed. And Mother Waldron, it's an open park that they're in control of for the event, and I'm sure they have proper security for the event. So if the homeless want to come in and join, I guess the homeless can come in and join, but the homeless don't sleep in that park. I can assure you of that. I don't see them. I leave every night and I don't see them in there. So I think it's a real, I think it's a really cool event to do in that community because that community needs events. So especially with all the new condos and we're right next to where Fisher Hawaii is now, that's going to be a condo and an elementary school in a few years and things like that. So I welcome these events and I think the community will too. And I mean, if I were you, I would go to the owners of my center,
Mhm.
Coral Commercial Center, and ask them if you can use it for parking, or go to One Love Church, because we all pay for our parking. And I'd be happy to, I already said I'm not even gonna do tours that day because it's gonna be a nightmare picking up our guests in Waikiki and coming. But I'd be happy to loan you my 9 parking stalls.
Yeah, and monetizing them, I mean, people
Yeah.
would pay for parking. just
Yeah.
It's convenient.
But I would, and I can tell you, Joe knows how to reach me, so I would tell you to contact Limited, I would contact Salt, I would contact H Mart and their parking lot, and all the businesses around, and just say, we're coming, and if you can help us with parking, thank you, that kind of thing.
Thank you, yeah, thank you for raising that up.
Just be clear, I'm not saying that. It's.
Oh, no, I know.
All I'm saying is,
You're concerned.
there's some kind of benefit to come out of this, to target and area, keep it all year round. So then when we.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Metro area.
Yep.
Just like what we try to do with the conventions and.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, and there's a lot of events that happen all over these more well-known parks, Palo Avenue. And I think going to Mother Waldron Park in 2017, Malia's from here, my wife's from here, I've been here since 2007, Joe's been here just as long. And I've never been to an event there. And so we were walking around, specking out locations, and we felt like it could be a cool event. It was in the burgeoning, upcoming urban hotspot of, which is Kakaako. And I think once we did it initially, we weren't even in the park in 2017. We really started moving more into the park 2018, and especially 2019. And the parks director at the time, Cass Disparovich, walked around, and he's with his baseball cap, and he goes, I've never seen the park activated like this. This is wonderful. And I feel like what we can do as an organization with all the businesses we're bringing is just, as long as there's no protest for us doing it, is to continue to do things there. Maybe other groups like ours, whether it's a cultural event or children's event, will find that, see how we're utilizing that space and activate it too. And as we have more people who are moving into that area through the high density building that's happening, they're going to look at it like a true family park. And then hopefully that just naturally starts, maybe it's Parks and Recs are putting, I mean, the Parks and Recs has, to their credit, been putting a lot more resources in,
Yes.
pickleball courts being included. It's like, so I think that's, we're just one part of the puzzle, but we're happy that we've activated it in a way where everyone seems to be pretty stoked about it, And it's not a late night event, so, everyone, the event closes at 10, and Life 360 and everyone else is hustling to get this thing done and cleared before midnight. So we try not to be disruptive, as least disruptive as possible.
Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you.
Sorry.
How many?
No, I think, kind of like what you said, I think there's a lot of opportunity in that park. And I also live in that area.
Yeah.
And will be there. I'm
Cool.
so excited to know about it.
Yeah.
But I think, like lighting is another, we can talk about that another time, but I think the inclusion of the pickleball there has kind of moved it in a really positive direction. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to make that park kind of like a more, I think people have kind of strayed away from it because of its kind of, not reputation, that's not the right word, but just kind of,
Wasn't as welcoming.
yeah, not as welcoming. And I think this might be, again, a model for other events and organizations to follow. And hopefully, we can potentially use you as a way to, show that model.
Maybe
yeah, I think you bring up a good point, and it's potential for opportunity and continuing it throughout the year.
Yeah.
Thanks for your offer too. We'll definitely follow up with you. Whether it's.
Gotta find
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Okay.
Yes, we'll send it over.
Okay, brief recess. We're having some technical difficulty where people can't hear us. They're unable to see us right now, so brief recess.
Okay, I'm not trying to.
Yeah, I tried.
Let's go. Better.
No, I just thought maybe sneak up. That way.
Run really fast, maybe.
Right, I think. It's just a promising incident. Perfect. Samples.
Okay, we are back in session 7:10 PM, and thank you again, President Liana, for your presentation this evening. We are now moving on to elected official reports. Mayor Rickman, representative. We did get an email that said that we don't have a mayor representative tonight, but they did send a report. So what we're going to do is upload the reports to, we have the link on here, but
Fair. Usually we have the residents and community concerns.
sorry, I completely forgot that line. Thank you, Member Chang. Let me go back real quick. Residents and community concerns. Can everyone online hear us? Okay, would anyone like to speak on this agenda item?
Yes, I do.
Member Freeman.
On behalf of my,
Second Vice Chair Freeman.
thank you. On behalf of my neighbor in the sub-district 4, she utilizes the motorized wheelchair. And let me be very specific of this area. And this is specifically pinpointing Yanagi Sushi. Now, that's a wonderful establishment. I patronize that place, whether it be dining in or takeout. Now, she is in a motorized wheelchair and she's very active. She goes around the neighborhood. And I've witnessed this. I'm sorry, I'll pinpoint it. I witnessed, they have a valet for their parking to their establishment. And the cars impede the sidewalk. So again, she is on a motorized wheelchair and she's, lower to the ground. And the fact that they do have valets during lunch and during the evenings, but yet they're not there to help with the flow of traffic. So imagine on Kapi'olani, people are waiting to turn into the establishment and people are trying to get out of the establishment. And again, they're blocking the sidewalk and yet they have valet service who's not overseeing that point. So I'm not sure, I don't know who enforces the impediments of sidewalk, especially to someone who is, I like to say, hand capable, because she's very, very active in going out daily. And I've seen her around the neighborhood. And, again, that's my neighbor at the One Archer. So how do we, and I've gone and researched it myself. There's a back road in the back, Clayton Street. I don't know if that's a private road, but clearly there's numerous stalls marked parking for Yanagi Sushi. So perhaps they could have their valet direct the traffic to the back, or just, again, I don't know who out there in Cyberland can, address this, but again, my neighbor, she's handicapped. She uses a motorized electric chair. She gets around very fine, but it's very disheartening when she says this to me, and I've seen it, even for the elderly, where you have valet service there. So why can't they control the cars coming in and out of that establishment to not impede the sidewalk?
Who do you go to for that?
Yeah, who do you, sorry, Senator, I know you got the big guns, so who do we go to for that? Representative, did she go? I told you I was gonna bend your ear. Who do we go to for that kind of stuff? She's a handicapped woman and I hate to say, it, I mean, is that a lawsuit in the waiting? Yes, and the sidewalk is the sidewalk city. So, Councilman say? Look, where's the
I apologize.
Lieutenant Fiducio?
I would apologize, but I would recommend you just call 911 if they are blocking the sidewalk.
Okay, that's easy.
She's on the looking.
Call the popo. Okay.
Councilmember Say 311.
Oh, 311, okay.
Non-emergency, yeah.
Okay, actually, it's funny that you bring that up, because the issue that I have is basically identical to yours, with, of course, a slight different twist on it. Basically, the issue that one of the residents in the district emailed us was that on Kakaako Street, there's a bunch of businesses that are claiming public parking stalls for themselves. And for these residents, that's been an issue that they brought up to us. And I wasn't sure exactly whose jurisdiction that is, but it sounds like, Senator, that's a city issue.
That was immediately a private street.
Yeah, and I believe not city owned.
And they were, they were the lost.
Mhm.
They were all not given the jurisdiction of the Department of Transportation.
Oh, so it is state.
Then it's city.
Oh,
Di-
that's easy to
Dyson,
understand.
Kathy,
So it's
may I
in.
interject?
But it's in transit to this city.
Got it. Okay, so then the best place to bring this concern to would.
Transportation service.
Okay.
Councilmember Say?
Yeah, may I interject? If that particular area of Kawahau is unimproved, it is with the Hawaii Community Development Authority. It is not with the city and county of Honolulu.
Greg Nakamoto.
Right, and the reason why I say this, historically, when the Community Development Authority started to redevelop all of the areas, the city did make a request, and the only request they made was to, if you do the improvements, keep it up to a city standard. Your sidewalks, your storm drains, your water system, etc. And that's why we're having some difficulty now, because I think maybe for Francine later on, you can ask Mr. Nakamoto. There's groups of private landowners who did not want to improve their properties historically. And if they're not going to improve on it, and then you're going to ask the city to go and take over these right of ways, we're not going to have the resources for all the other streets that we also cover, which is the whole county of Oahu. So I bring this up just for clarification. All that you see as far as improve in Kakaako, the Cook Street, Halekawila, etc., yeah, they have transferred it over to the city. But I brought up an issue this past January when you folks all realized what happened with the residents on Halekawila and Cook with the sinkhole.
Right.
That cost the city $25 million to repair it. And that's where I was asking the state, could you meet us halfway? Because that 25 million was supposed to be earmarked for other city and county projects, which we then had to supplant it to take care of this emergency. That's the difficulty the city is having right now, and I'll follow up with the other young lady in regards to the jurisdiction. We can talk about it, and it should be brought out publicly that when maybe Francine or Craig comes before you folks, these are the type of issues you should be addressing. And then Makanani and I can go back to Roger Morton. That's a fair assumption to make, because Roger Morton is in charge of the Department of Transportation Services at the county level. And for all of you, I apologize. I don't know who put up those signs, but I have my staff here listening, and we can go back and check on it and report back to you folks next month.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Say. That would be much appreciated.
Cool.
Okay.
I have an item to bring up. On Kaheka Street, near the corner of Leona and Kaheka, it appears that the curb is falling into the ground. In other words, the curb is like this, and then there's a little bit of sidewalk, not sidewalk, but where the pavement hits the curb, it's actually starting to do this. It's unrolled, and so there might be a potential sinkhole on Kaheka Street by the intersection of Leona and Kaheka. And then a little further down where there is a storm drain, which is right about in front of 920 Kaheka, the soil has dropped about 4 inches. So there's a drop about 4 inches where the sidewalk is and where the soil is before it hits the street. So I'm just concerned that maybe they should take a look, that there might be a sinkhole being created, or maybe the drainage system, which is, I don't know how old, it's probably 100 years old. Maybe it's starting to erode away the ground next to where the drain pipes are. So I'd like somebody from the city to come take a look at. It's a city street and it's a city sidewalk. And you might want to take a look at that.
Thank you, Member Chang. Any other community? Councilmember Osei?
You're muted.
You're currently muted right now, so we're unable to hear you.
I just said, just put it in the chat for Janelle or for Melvia, for Mr. Chang's concerns, the street. That'll be fine. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
I would like to know, please, who can give us an update? And I know it's a state park or county park, Moana Regional Park and Koi Pavilion, city. Great.
City.
Hey,
You're
Councilman
correct.
Sandy, it's your lucky night tonight.
I'm fine. Don't worry.
Right across the street, I've been watching the tarp on McCoy Pavilion. I've been watching the fences go up with the black tarp and I would say maybe 1 or 2 days a week there, half a day there's construction workers there, but nothing's happening. Can anybody enlighten us, or especially me, what's going on there? What is the plan? When is the expectation for whatever that plan is to be completed? It's an eyesore. And it's been like that for years, since before the pandemic. Thank you.
Can you share with us what part of the park are you talking about? Moana Park.
McCoy Pavilion.
McCoy Pavilion,
All
okay.
around the tennis courts. There's a fence that they have put up. There's black tarp to
Okay.
stop people from looking in. At the entrance where the circle is, where people can park to go to the. It's been like that for years. I live
Okay.
right across the street.
Well, we'll go and check it out. Melvia and I walked that area because we had to talk to the pickleball groups that were playing pickleball also with the tennis
Oh,
court.
call me, I'll go with you, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other communication concerns? Okay. On to elected official reports, the mayor's office.
I got the same memo you were sent. I just wanted to highlight a few items. Tax relief for homeowners in the fiscal year 24 budget. In June, Mayor Blangiardi signed the city council's adopted 3.41 billion operating budget. Among the city's top priorities was a historic property tax relief for nearly 100,052 qualifying homeowners in Oahu in the form of a one-time tax credit of $350, amounting to roughly 53 million, which will be applied directly to property tax bills before they are distributed later this summer. You can read the full stories and see more city happenings at www.oneoahu.org/newsletter. And then there is one follow-up from last month regarding Kakaako housing. The fire alarm that was consistently activated. On July 5th, HFD inspectors investigated the complaint. Kakaako housing, which is located at 1545 Kakaako Avenue. The on-site inspection found no evidence of unwanted fire alarm system activations. So we can have them look again, maybe they just went and they just see it.
Went off yesterday.
Is there a time of day or is it just
It
random?
happens all the time. It's just a miraculous thing happened when the fire department was there.
Yeah.
We get constant complaints about. Constant.
All right, I'll have them look into it again.
Thank you.
Yeah, we could, next time we'll get a video and get a
That
time.
would help too.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Thank you. Councilmember Say.
Hi, Kathy, and for other board members, congratulations. My report is in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you folks may have. I've enjoyed this evening's meeting, and It was a lively discussion, which I'm really happy. But we're just here to support you folks as much as we can. Always contact my office so we can do a riser in asking the respective departments to follow up with the concerns that you folks all have. And finally, we will be working with the city and the state in regards to the jurisdictional problem of the roads that we have today in Kakaako, Ala Moana.
Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Calvin, for always answering
You're
our
welcome.
questions.
Thank you.
Have you got over saying any questions?
Hi, sorry, this is Janelle from Councilman Say's office. I just wanted to note that Melvia had put the McCoy Pavilion, other Ala Moana Park CIP projects in the chat.
Thank you.
Benny, appreciate that. Councilmember Tyler Wilson from Town or Robin Hensky.
Hi, everyone. So I put this month's newsletter in the chat box, and I want to mention that I know that Representative Scott Psyche is probably going to mention it, his representative, later tonight, but our staffer, Brandon Mitsuda, our chief of staff, is attending the Ala Moana Kakaako Neighborhood Security Watch. So if any of you attend that and you have any concerns that you want to bring to our office as well, he will be the point person on that. Otherwise, I'm going to be here to answer any questions. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Questions? Okay, thank you, Sensei, appreciate it. Representative Scott Ishimoto, who is here in person. Yay!
We like in person.
Well, congratulations to all of you, returning and new board members. My staffer, Taylor Goffey, is here. She'll be representing me when I don't make it to the board meetings. And when you call her office, she's the one you'll talk to. She's my only staffer, so she'll be the one. But I'm just here to answer questions. And if you have any concerns, feel free to call me anytime. For those that live in my district, you have my cell phone number. So please give me a call. We get several calls a day from constituents on my cell, and it's just something we deal with. So.
Oh, thank you. Any questions while he's here in person? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Well, for obvious reasons. I know.
Representatives Adrian Tam.
Hi, this is Flora, Representative Adrian Tam's office manager. I'm here in his stead tonight. Our newsletter will be on our webpage, and I'm here to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Rep Tam representative? Thank you for being here tonight online. Appreciate it. Speaker Scott Psyche or Frank Roshadinsky, who turned in an email report that we'll upload to our link.
Hi, Chair Lee, members of the neighborhood board, thank you guys for having us tonight. I submitted our neighborhood board report into the chat. As Robin had mentioned earlier, we do the neighborhood security watch. So if anyone is interested, we'd love you guys to participate.
What is the date for that? Or is that?
That is the second and fourth Thursday. It's at 5:30 p.m. and we meet at the corner of Ward and Capilani at the Blaisdell Center.
Okay. Thank you. Questions? Okay, thank you. Appreciate you being here tonight. Senator Sharon Moriguapi is also here in person. Yay.
New and veteran, I should say. So the session ended, and so you've got, well, McKinley High School got money.
Yay.
Yes, finally. And so I gave you the last of the bills that were signed by the governors, all for Kupuna elderly. I did want to mention that dogs are not allowed in Ala Moana Beach Farm. It is prohibited, so there were a number of complaints, and there were some 50 dogs at one time, one day. So HPD was nice enough to meet with Parks and Rec, because Parks and Rec has jurisdiction over Ala Moana Park. So we met and they put up more signs, but as some of you mentioned, some signs are not placed correctly. So they're placed in the park instead of outside the park, going in, over the bridges. So we're working on that. But I have to tell you, last Sunday I drove around in Ala Moana Park and there were no dogs. So signs do help. And of course, HPD did a sweep. They cited people who had dogs. So at least people know that, when you enforce, they start listening and hopefully following over time, but it's very tough. And talking about NRO and Hobron, DOT did come down because some constituents were complaining about the Ala Moana Boulevard. And they do have a barn stance and they do have the no right turn on red. And they looked at that, so they're keeping all the cars off the streets except for commercial during certain periods. And then seeing how that they can adjust the lighting. So if you do call DTS, if it's private streets or small streets, or DOT if it's big streets, and that's the only one is on one boulevard. Everything else is a city.
DT.
Full.
Thank you. So,
And I'd like to give an update on dogs and parks, if I
Okay.
may.
Hello,
It's a big discussion in the Kakaako Ward Village area. I had a wonderful conversation with Craig Nakamoto from HCDA last Saturday. And the Kolowalu Mauka Dog Park that I've been pushing through. He told me it's in the permit process right now. He's hoping to have the permit by the end of this month or end of first week August. And then they have to get the contractors on board, but he's hoping to have it completed by the end of December. Prior to that, the crosswalk will be done before that, the crosswalk between the two parks, which I almost got hit the other day. So my crosswalk, I almost got hit, but I'm standing in the middle of the crosswalk going, really, driver? Are you nuts? But it's really great that movement is happening. I sent Craig an email. He responded with 2 lines and then he picked up the phone, which I really appreciated. So I'm excited for the community to know it's coming. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's not coming. You got snowball genie, but I did not. And I'm really glad because it's so needed.
But it moves.
Yeah, it just moves slow. But thank you for your support, Senator, and your help in getting those 2 items.
Speaker, thank you.
Speaker, Frank, thank you, Adrian, thank you, and Craig, and the HCDA. Craig, he works so hard, and he has so much more on his plate now, not even on this island anymore. Now they're tapping into him to help projects on the neighbor islands. So he's got his hands full, but he's got a great team and super guy.
Oh, I see.
Senator, I have one question. You know that those raised
The humps.
humps on Kapiolani, it's state. Any
No, it's
feedback?
city.
It's
It's city, but the state helped the city
Right.
because the state moves backwards.
So my question was, I traverse that most every day. And I've noticed people slowing down. And I'm just wondering if there's been any other comment from other community members or any other.
I think it does slow people down. Plus it's the red light also. Yeah. I have to tell you a story. I was driving on the hump and there was a truck that was speeding and it flew over the hump. I could see the wheels lift over the hump and I took a picture of the license plate number and I wasn't driving. And so I texted it in to the traffic division of HPD. And they found the guy. And the next day or 2 later, I was really shocked. They found the guy and they gave him a warning. They said, you're really not supposed to be speeding. And he really apologized. He said, I was really rushing to whatever the excuse was, but they can follow up. So, I mean, I think it's really important to enforce as well as putting those things in, right? So it's really important to enforce. And
Thank you.
I do want to ask a favor that I have until August 31st for you to, do my survey, because I do look at it, Because that's how I know what I'm going to work on, because I can't work on everything.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, appreciate it, Senator.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Coming in person, we love it.
Mr. Ashlycroft, that's my dog's breeding office. We got a response from Boswell. I'll forward that to our new members. The entire board.
Good evening, everyone. Congratulations to the new and returning members. Not a ton to report that's not in the newsletter. I dropped some copies of it and put a link in the chat. The newsletter includes some highlighted bill signings from June. This issue, I think, came out first week of July, might have been last week. I did want to call attention to one of them, specifically addressing the expansion of eligibility for the homeowner assistance fund. Among the changes that were made, it does raise the maximum assistance per household from $30,000 to $60,000 and extends the period of assistance with future payments from 6 months to 12 months. There are some other elements of it. And happy to respond to any questions or carry them back to the governor's team.
Excellent job. Questions from the board? Anybody? Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Agency reports, HCDA. I believe I have a message from Ms. Francis Murray saying that she had this.
I'm here. I made it back. Thank you. Aloha and congratulations, Chair and new members. I'm Francine Murray from the Hawaii Community Development Authority. I'll share the HCDA newsletter in the chat. The next HCDA board meetings will be held Wednesday, August 2nd on site at the Historic American Brewery Building and virtually at 7 a.m. The week after that, on August 9th, HCDA will host a community meeting to gather input on amending the Kakaako. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We'll be holding a community meeting to gather input on amending the Kakaako Kai district plan to reflect the law banning residential development in the area, subsequent planning efforts, and consistency with rules in other districts. Again, that community meeting is on August 9th at 6 p.m., both on site at the building and virtually. I'll put a link to more information on that community meeting in the chat also. Are there any questions for me to take back to the office?
Questions from the board? Ms. Murray, we did have, I think, First Vice Chair, she had pointed out that a resident had emailed us regarding the parking on Kauai House Street. We'll forward that over to you just because it's a very detailed email. And then today we just learned in this meeting that HCDA has systems over that, so we're not sure exactly who is responsible or can help with the issues that were brought up. First Vice Chair, could you kind of go over what the issues were? It had something to do with parking on the street.
On Kauai House? Yeah. Thank you. If you can send that email to us, we'll respond to you.
Appreciate it. Any other questions? Thank you. Being here tonight. Okay, Park. Mr. Harry Cho sent an email saying he was not going to be here tonight, but he did have a report, so we'll place that in our link as well. Board of Water Supply also sent the report online. For the announcements though, we still have social media accounts up, so for anyone out there who would like to follow us, please do. Honolulu Liquor Commission has their hearings on their website, and we just placed on there what is mailed to us as far as businesses in the area looking for permits. A notable one is, well, actually all of them are notable, but go to hotel for permit. So again, if anyone would like to attend at these hearings, Honolulu Liquor Commission is on Kapolani Boulevard. There. Permit reviews and next meeting. Again, we meet every fourth Tuesday of the month pending recess meetings, which we agreed upon today. Are we still broadcasted on the month? Okay. Looks like we're still broadcasted. And our next regular meeting is August 22nd, same time, same place. And we are adjourned.
This is a record.